Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. We've got a fun show for you today, and I really made that exciting saying fun show for you today. How about a few fun DIYs for you today? What are we waiting for? Let's get started. So today we'll be doing 3 DIYs using the bicycle wreath from Dollar Tree. Wanted to give you guys some ideas for this. So let's get started with project number 1. So for this project, I've painted flat white spray paint one of the bicycle wheels. I'll be using these blooming branches from Dollar Tree. And then I've got these white flowers with black centers I got at Hobby Lobby, but like those large sunflowers that Dollar Tree has now with the black centers would be great because it gives you some contrast. Going to be using these gardenias from Dollar Tree because I like the little bit of pale yellow in the center. Some of these lamb's ear from Walmart. And then I've got some of these foliage here from Dollar Tree. I like them because they look kind of prickly. And then some of these cute little daisies from Dollar Tree as well. I have some of these lemon branches from Walmart. But if you don't have that, because I'm going to add extra lemons. I didn't know at this point if I was going to use these larger ones or smaller ones. But I add them on skewers. So just use skewers and some larger lemons will be fine. And then some of these fuzzy things from Hobby Lobby. So I've already put one side together because I can't just do this on the fly. It took me like probably 30 minutes to create that little one side piece. So I wanted to create it and then show you, start to finish how I did it. We're going to use zip ties. So I start with lamb's ear and a little bit of that foliage. And in my flowers, I like to kind of bend forward so that when they're on the wreath, they're bent nice and forward. Then I add in my little lemons here and in some of those blooming branches. I think I'll do like 3 little blooming branches on each side, coming in with a couple of little daisies here, and then add in some of these little fuzzy ball things. I guess Dollar Tree, I've seen it on their site. They're coming in, they've got them now. I'm sitting with them in my cart, but now I'm telling you, you're all going to buy them up. They're fuzzy balls. They're different colors, so can't wait to get some of those. And then add in the white flower with the black center, and then I come in with some more daisies and a little bit more lamb's ear, and then I'm going to zip tie. I'll do 2 zip ties at the bottom, and as I zip tie I kind of rearrange. 3 zip ties at the bottom. And then of course I'm going to come in and shorten my ends here, and so now I've got 2 mirror image pieces here. I've bent the bottoms a little bit. We're going to come back to that. I'm going to use this black and white ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I've just pleated it back and forth. So I've got 4 pleats on each side. I'll be using some black wire from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to come in and make about an inch slit on each side. I'm going to take that black wire through the center of those slits. What I like to do is the tail that ends up on the front as you're pleating, I will take it through the slit and put it to the back side. That way both my tails are now on the back side. And then once I get all that arranged there, then I'm going to really tightly twist that wire together. And then by adding those slits, you can come in and take all your little bow pieces and you can twist and turn them however you want to make your nice puffy bow. So I'm going to fiddle with that. We've got that ready. And I'm going to come in with some more zip ties here. And I chose to do zip ties versus hot glue to give you guys an idea. If you only have one bicycle wreath, but you want to change it throughout the seasons by kind of zip tying your designs on, then you can just cut those off and then you just store those for your different seasons, and you can kind of continue to use the same bicycle wreath. So I did it that way as an idea. So I'm zip tying. I do a couple down at the end, and then I like to go in through the near the middle of the decorative piece and zip tie there as well. And then I'm putting in my bow here in the center, just wiring that on after both my floral sides are zip tied. And then I'm coming in just some Waverly wax here, really watered down. As you can see, I've got this wooden homeward I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's like $1.49. I'm going to glue this in. And then once I've glued this word on, when I glue it in, I kind of press it against some flowers so it'll stay. And then that lemon I'm going to glue onto, I kind of flattened it out so there's a flat spot so it'll hold that wood word. But once I do that, this project is complete. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Linda. I love to do all sorts of DIY home decor projects, from rustic to farmhouse to primitive, even throwing in some paper crafting. I love to post videos once a week. So if you like what you see here today, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. For now, let's move on to project number 2. For this project, I've spray painted my wagon wheel in a dark brown, and you're going to need 3 signs from Dollar Tree and one of these hanging signs for the circle shape, which I chose not to use, but I'm leaving it in to show you just in case. I have this home decor piece I picked up at Hobby Lobby, half price, but you could use one of these wood stars from Dollar Tree. So we're going to need our little shapes here. What I'm using is copy paper, of course, seeing how big my circle is here, and laying the bicycle wheel on top, and we're going to just trace one of the inner spokes of this to get the shape that we need. And then I'm going to take it and move it up just about an inch so I can kind of elongate that shape a little bit. I don't need to take the narrow end all the way to the center because I originally, of course, was going to cover it with that round circle, but I don't end up doing that, but it still looks pretty cool. Cut your shape out here. And then what we're going to do is trace it onto our wood here. You're going to need 12 of these. Now I chose these chalkboard wood signs from Dollar Tree because they're not like real like wood. I think they're like pressed paper. So you can trace them on, and then you could use either some heavy duty scissors or your craft knife to kind of cut them out. And you have to lay them on kind of creatively, but you can get 4 shapes per sign. I take mine out to the jigsaw and cut them all off, you know, quickly. I spray paint the black in black so they're all nice and finished off, ready to go. You're going to need 4 of these little pie shapes, I guess, for each color. Let's call them pie shapes. Be using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Rustic Red, Yankee Blue, and drop cloth for our little pie shapes and circle. So just starting out painting a couple of these in the Rustic Red. I do 2 coats on, you know, 4 of these, of course. And we'll move ahead. I wanted to create a star pattern. I didn't want to just create a stencil off my Cricut. For those of you that don't have a Cricut, we're going to start out, I've got 3 of them done. We're going to start out with the pie shapes, 1 coat of the drop cloth here. So this is how I'm doing my star shapes. And then of course I'm just heat setting it to get it done quicker. I had these labels in my supply and I ran them through my printer using my Microsoft Publisher program, and I printed 5 stars on it, and then I cut those 5 stars out. And I'm using these because these badges are little stickers. Now, if you just have some star stickers, you can use those, but I didn't have any. I'm using what I have, using a little needle here to peel them off. I'm going to place my star stickers where I want them, 5 per pie shape, and then I'm going to do 2 coats of the Yankee Blue right on top. Once that's dry, you just come in, like I said, use a little needle or something here and peel off your star shapes. And now we have our stenciled piece. So if you don't have an electronic cutting machine, this makes great stencil material. So here's all my pieces done, all painted, ready to go. Even the circle, I am going to come in. If you don't have that middle shape, you might want to paint a bigger star here if you want a star like red or blue. I'm going to take it outside, use my electronic sander, and sand everything off so it's all nice and rustic. Once that's done, I'm coming back in here with my Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to place these pie pieces kind of slanted right underneath each of the wires going around. So I'm going to only do 4 pieces at a time, and then I will clamp those pieces, and I have to kind of let them dry for about a half an hour so I can move on to the next 4, only because I don't have enough of the little mini clamps. So I'm just placing glue on one side of our pie shape here. Get those 4 ready to go, and I'll take a pie shape, place it right up underneath that wire there, and I'll place 2 clamps per pie shape. You can see how it's sticking up. Then I'm going to take the next pie shape and I'm going to do the same thing. Now these stay in really nice because that narrow end of our pie shape, as it gets into the narrow end of our bicycle wheel frame, it kind of locks it in because it's narrowing in there. And then I don't know, that narrow end of that bicycle frame kind of locks it in. And of course, using the Gorilla Glue and clamping it, it sets and it holds and it's stable and it's firm. It works perfectly. So I will do this all the way around, doing kind of 4 pieces at a time. I think this is really cool. I was just going to lay them flat. So if you want to just lay yours flat, you could do that. But so here I am. I've got 2 rounds done. I'm coming in on the last round. I'm going to clamp it in, one kind of in the middle, one at the top. Just like that, moving all the way around. At this point, I like it slanted because it kind of reminds me of a windmill. So here's where I'm starting to think, well, I'm kind of liking this windmill slanted shape. Do I really want to use that circle on top? So this is where your decision comes in and why I left that. So here it is while it's setting up. Just kind of wanted to show you. You could leave it like that for windmill, or you could come in with your circle shape and you can add your star design right on top. It's however you choose. But once I do this, this project is complete. Let's move on to our last project, number 3. For this project, again, I spray painted brown, and I've got 2 fabrics here, blue polka dot and kind of a red check, and I've got a cute little heart thing here I'm going to use from Hobby Lobby. Some of that burlap ribbon from Hobby Lobby. Some of these white roses, these were like half price, so I got them very cheap. And you could, of course, use any of the little mini white roses and baby's breath and stuff from Dollar Tree. I just have all these from Hobby Lobby. And I use some of these like Sola flowers from Dollar Tree as well. And then some red pit berries. And you could use anything that you want to use to design. Now what I'm going to do, I want this really rustic looking. So I'm taking my strips or fabric about 4 inches apart and I'm tearing strips. You're going to end up needing 2 strips of blue and 3 strips of the red and white. Now what I chose to do is my strips, the length of the overall strip on these was about 36 inches and I wanted them longer, so I actually cut 5 of the red strips and then 1 of the red strips cut in half, and I sewed it to the other long strip to make it really long. And I did the same thing on the blue, and you may not really need to do that because I end up cutting off excess, but it works. And it all really depends how much you want to leave hanging off, and you'll understand what I'm saying once we get to the end of that. So my overall length of my strips, once I cut off later on, the excess are 46 inches long and then 3 inches wide. So I do 2 of the strips. I fold them completely in half and I'm laying them on the wheel, kind of gathering them while holding them tight at the right end. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with the red strips, again fold in half, lay my wheel right on there, or however you can do it, pull it up right next against those blue strips, kind of gather it, and then kind of holding it tight against the right side, and I will continue to do that for the remaining red strips. Now if you don't have a sewing machine and you want your strips long like mine, you can hot glue the ends together. It would work together perfectly fine. And I chose to rip the edges because I just wanted them frayed and distressed and rustic, and so this is how I thought it would look kind of cool. Adding in our last little red strip here, gathering it up, pulling it all nice and tight, and then I'm going to bring all the ends together here. You can see how long those are. They don't need to be that long, but you know, it's how I did it. And I have just a little strip here I ripped off, and what I'm going to do is kind of tie it in a half knot here at the end of the wagon wheel. I tie it in a half knot first so that once I pull that tight, then I can come in and, you know, fiddle with my pieces again, and then I can gather them and then pull them really tight at the end underneath our strip there, because we want these really tight on the wagon wheel so that they don't slide off. And then I continue tying my knot, you know, so it's all set. So I end up cutting about, like I said, 8 inches off. I'm going to rip these off as well. I'm going to do it to all my strips. So I think what's left hanging is about 12 inches, so you don't have to keep them that long. All right, so then we're going to come in and we're going to add our decorative pieces here. So I'm starting out with the pieces that kind of look like baby's breath. I'm doing one up and then one down. And I'm going to come in, I cut 3 stems of those mini rose bushes. So I'm going to put 2 going up. And then I'm going to come in with those solar flowers here. I'll put 2 here as well. I really like how the kind of the roses kind of go in with the rustic of the fabric. I like how that turned out. So again, 2 solar flowers, and one of the packages of my solar flowers had red sticks in it, so I thought that'd be great to kind of bring the red out. Another little mini rose stem here facing downward, and I'm going to go ahead, that's it for now. Do a zip tie around all of that, keep it in place. I'm going to make a bow here just like we did the first bow of our lemon bouquet, 4 pleats each side. And then I'm coming through and doing my little 1/2 inch or 1 inch slits on each side. And I'm using twine this time to go through the center so that that twine will help us as we wrap around the fabric to kind of keep our fabric and everything in place as well on our wreath. Once we get that twine knotted nice and tight, we can go in and kind of adjust our loops, get them how we want them. And now I went ahead and added pip berries here with another zip tie. I did that last so that I knew which direction I kind of wanted the pip berries to go. And I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue here. I'm going to glue that on right on that little area of the fabric. Then we're going to bring in our bow here. Going to bring it right around, gather all the way around all those fabric strips. And we'll come in here and we'll tie it nice, and I pull it really tight, 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 and do a couple of knots here. And then of course cut off your excess. Perfect. Perfect. Then we're going to come in and add one more little piece here. This is that decorative kind of wood heart I got from Hobby Lobby. You again could use one of those Dollar Tree stars and paint them up. I'm going to tuck this and glue it in, and once I do that, this project is complete. So I hope you like how these projects turned out today. A couple of videos ago, I used one of these bicycle wheels in a project, and I had a comment, you know, thank you for the idea of how to use these. So I thought it would be really fun to create a video using these bicycle wheels. Now this project happens to be my favorite because I love the rusticness of how the fabric is torn and frayed and distressed against the softness of the roses. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which project was your favorite today. Please give this video a thumbs up. And remember, if you're not a subscriber and you like what you saw here today, consider hitting that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. When it's a hard task, stick with it. When you want to give up, keep doing it. Commit yourself to what God has in store for you. Rise up and build your faith in what God has in store for you. Both commitment and faith sometimes can be hard or challenging, but you have to be determined. You have to be willing to make a personal commitment and stand with Jesus. You have to be willing to be all in. What is your heart saying today? Are you all in? I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.